Okay, this is Orlando Wilson, and what I want to talk about in this video slash podcast is something I bump into quite often. And I've had this conversation last few days with a couple of my guys. It's what I class as people that's lived too much. If you've gone out there, lived your life, traveled, dealt with different cultures, lived with different cultures, dealt with crazy situations, etc., trying to portray those situations across to other people can be difficult because a lot of times they're not going to believe what you've done. I was talking to somebody the other day. They got some excellent stories, funny stories, crazy stories. And you know what? They're 100% believable. I know the guy. I say he's done it. Yeah, 100%. Might exaggerate it a little bit, but not too much. But again, he was saying it's very difficult for him to tell those stories to a lot of people because a lot of people just won't believe it. Why? Because they've not lived too much. If you're in the investigations business, if you're in the close protection business, it's a people business. You have to understand people. You have to be able to relate to people, communicate with people. And this is where a lot of guys, girls have difficulty if they've lived too much. Why? Because dealing with the regular people in the world that might think they've done a lot, that might think they've traveled and done exciting things. When you're listening to their stories, and I've listened to some people tell me the highlights of their life, and I'm like, well, if that's all you've done, then I've most probably forgotten a hell of a lot better, or just can't remember a hell of a lot better from a couple of weekends that are blurs now from when I was a lot younger and crazier. But again, it's like for a lot of people, they've never really done much, even though they think they've done a lot. So this is where, if you're one of the guys and girls that's actually been out there and experienced life, be it good or bad, and a lot of positives come from the negatives. A lot of excellent life experience comes from getting kicked in the balls, kicked in the teeth, and putting yourself or being in very difficult situations and then sorting things out. That to me is real life experience. But there's a lot of people out there that don't have that life experience. How do you relate to them? Well, you have to be patient. It's like, I feel sorry for such people. I don't feel sorry for them. I understand them. But in some ways it's like, okay, you've chosen your path. I've chosen mine. The people I deal with chose their path. And again, be it right, be it for positive or negative, they've lived their lives. A lot of people haven't. And relating to those people can be difficult. But if you're one of the people like my associates, myself, that have trouble dealing with such people, all I say, be patient, understand them. You have to understand people in this world to be able to communicate. You have to understand their experiences, put yourself in their position, think about their experiences. And in a lot of ways, you've got to be careful who you tell your stories to. Because I'm sure I could walk into a cafe somewhere, a bar somewhere, and start talking to people and start coming out with my stories, and everybody would think I'm just another crazy guy that walked in off the street. I might be another crazy guy that walked in off the street, but you know what? I've got some good stories, and they're real ones. So it's funny because the people I think that understand what I'm saying about living too much, I think you can recognize those traits in other people. So you have to save the stories for when you're dealing with the people like you and who understand you. In the meantime, the rest of the people in the world, be nice, be polite, be humble, and take with a pinch of salt, right? So a little bit of advice there on dealing with people. Follow me along on social media. I'm going to have a lot more stories coming up. I've got a lot of videos and content up now on security, close protection, kidnap and ransom. I've also got an array of books up online to do with various aspects of the security business, also some crime fiction books. And I've got a book coming out in the next few weeks that's going to include a lot more stories like this, some life advice, etc. And if you follow my content, if you follow my writings, you can understand if you're woke, you're not really going to appreciate it, because my life advice for most people is 1, get a life, 2, suck it up, and 3, if you can't deal with it, then you deserve a kick in the ass. That's putting it politely. So be good, stay safe, stay out of trouble, and remember, get out there. I can't say get out there and get into trouble. Get out there and experience life.